Hey guys, this is Eve Scrapbooking with me, and today we're going to use up some scraps. Now, I have a lot of scrap paper. Some of it is large enough to do this project, some of it is not, but I'll show you when we get into it about what you're going to need. And then I have quite a few small pieces of chipboard. Now, if you don't have chipboard, you can use cereal boxes. Just anything that you can use up. I have lots and lots of these. One reason that I have this size is because Melina was cutting some chipboard for me the other day for one of my kits, and I told her the wrong size. So she cut them the size that I told her, but it was the wrong size. So I have quite a few of these. These are 2 inches by 4. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these up, and I'm going to use some of my scrap paper. And we're going to make these little storage boxes. This one is going to hold, let me hold that so I won't dump the buttons out. It's going to hold wood buttons. So I've got 2 little wood buttons just stuck here on the outside. And if something comes up that I need to use these, I can pull them off because I just got them stuck on there with a little glue dot. So it shouldn't hurt the paper at all. I can just pull those off. If you want this paper on the outside to really last a long time, you can go over this with a layer of Mod Podge or Collage Podge, and that will seal all of this over, keep anything from staining it, whatever, and it'll make it last longer. I'm not worried about that because if this paper starts, if I accidentally tear it or something like that, I'll just put another layer of paper over it. I do have chipboard on the inside, so it's nice and sturdy. And then tomorrow what we will do is we will make a little shelf for these to slide into, so that when we get all of these made for all of our little bitty pieces, we can have a shelf to put them all on and have the label facing out so that we'll know what's in there. Now, I did this label on my Cricut because I cannot write very pretty, but you can probably write pretty, and you could just cut you out a circle. This is a 1.5 inch circle, and then just write what is on there. Or use a stamp set if you have a little stamp set and do it that way. But let's lay that one aside. So I'm going to start out with a piece of cardstock that is 9 inches by 7. And we are going to do some scoring on here. So you're going to score it 1/2 inch all the way down. Then you're going to score at 2.5. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. We want to skip 4 inches because the bottom of our box, the long ways, is 4. So skip 4 and then go 1, 2, and there. I'm kind of showing you how I come about these measurements because I just kind of sit down and play around with it. So I took my chipboard and I knew that it was 4 inches long, and that I didn't want to have to cut my chipboard a lot, so I wanted it 2 inches tall. So I know that I'm going to need 4, and then 2, 6, and then 2 is 8. So then I need 1/2 inch on each side to fold over. So that's how I come up with my 9. Hopefully that makes sense. And I will try to draw all this out and put it on my blog so that you'll know exactly how I come up with my measurements. And then I'll draw out how I cut these and the whole 9 yards. That link will be directly below the video. So again, that scoring is 1/2, 2.5, 6.5, and then 8.5. And then you're going to turn it, and you're going to score at 1/2. And then we need to skip 2, 1, 2, so 2.5. And then the bottom across is just 2, so skip 2 more, 4.5, and then 2 more, 6.5. So that is 1/2, 2.5, 4.5, 6.5 on that way. Okay. All right. So that is your scoring. You can lay your scoreboard aside and hopefully not make as much racket as I did. Now, let me know in the comments below how many of you use little containers and boxes and things like this to store your little bitty gadgets and things in. I just seem to never have enough because I always have little bitty bits and pieces of things that I need to put in different containers. So let me know in the comments below if your life is the same as mine. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to cut away this line right here. So these 3 outer boxes, we're going to cut those away. We do not need those. And go ahead and cut your whole score line out. And when I say the whole score line, what I mean is cut out that little ridge of your score line. So you need to cut all of that out. Okay. And then you're going to go this way, do the same thing. Okay, like that. Then you're going to do that on the other end. And then you're going to turn it around and you're going to do the same thing on this side. So you're going to cut that. Alright, so that's what you're going to have right there. And a photo of this will be on my blog, so don't worry about trying to do drawings or anything like that. And now what you're going to do is you're going to come right in here on this side, right beside where you cut that off, and you're going to cut down on that score line. Going to do the same thing down here. Turn it around and do the same thing on the other side. Just like that. Now we want to take just a little bit of a wedge out of the outside of these. Don't take it on the inside, just take a little bit off of the outside. So all I'm going to do is take about that much of a wedge right there. That's it. Just off of the outside. And I apologize if you can hear my dog barking. He is stirred up over something or somebody outside. I don't know if the neighbors are out or if someone pulled up or what, but he is a very protective dog. He gets all wound up when something's going on outside. Alright, so now what we want to do is on these 4 little tabs, we want to take just a little bit off. So just snip a little off, about 1/4 inch. And it doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't have to be straight. This is going to be on the inside. This is just to keep it from overlapping when you put the box together. Alright, and now what we're going to do, and I'm going to switch my scissors because these cut a lot better when I'm doing the small things. On the ends of these, all of these outside tabs on the end, you're going to take just a small wedge. Don't do a big one. Just take a small one, about like that. That is going to fold over to the inside and cover up your chipboard, so you don't want a big wedge out of it. You just want a small one. And I'll cut one and hopefully not lose it next time, so I'll be able to show you about what I'm talking about. There we go, right there. Just about that much. Alright, so there is your piece right there. Now I have taken those chipboard pieces and I have cut them just a little sliver off because they were 2 inches, and I cut them off at about 1 7/8. And then this way, lengthwise, I cut them off about 3 7/8. So that is going to be our pieces of chipboard for the bottom and the 2 side pieces. These are going to be the 2 end pieces, and I cut those at 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. And now we're going to take some paper, some of our scrap paper, and we're going to cover these, and I'm going to cover them in the same color. You can do all different colors if you want. You can use your pattern paper. I'm going to put those down. All I did was just put glue on one side, stuck them down to that paper, and then I'm just going to trim them off right up at that chipboard. Okay, and you're only putting this on one side. So let's grab another sheet. This is another scrap that I have cut some off of in the past. It just happens to be a big scrap. But see, I can continue to use this and make another if I want to. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stick all of these down, and then we will come back and trim them. And this is a medium weight chipboard. A lot of people ask me what chipboard I use. I use various chipboards. We carry various sizes and styles. I use different chipboard for different occasions. So depending on what I'm making is the kind of chipboard I use. I wanted this to be nice and strong, so this is medium weight chipboard. And medium weight is about, let me see, I'll measure it in just a second. I'm going to trim this off. Medium weight chipboard is about a 1/16 of an inch thick. So I hope that helps you. We do carry chipboard in our store. We carry the big packs of 25, or we carry the smaller packs where, you know, if you don't want to buy a big pack and have to pay the shipping on the big packs, you can buy the smaller packs and save on shipping and still have some nice chipboard. All of my links will be below as well. Alright, so we've got all of that covered. Now I'm going to go ahead and put down the bottom one. I always like to put the bottom one down before I close anything up. So go ahead and put your glue on there. And just make sure that your chipboard is fitting right between your score lines. Don't let it go over a score line anywhere, because you still want everything to fold up nice. So that's going right between, right there. And then we can go ahead and we can put our glue on here. Alright, then when you glue those down, just make sure that your corners meet up nicely. And then just use your bone folder and press that down really, really well. Make sure that your glue has caught. Got that put together. And then go ahead and just fold these back, because we're going to be working on the inside. So we just want these folded back out of our way. And I'm going to make sure that I've got that pressed down well right there. I like to put lots of glue on because I want this to hold. You can use a double-sided adhesive here if you want to. But usually, if you just put a good amount of glue, it will hold just fine. I just go back and check all of my corners and edges, make sure that they're glued together well. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take these pieces of chipboard and we're going to slide them in just like that. You see, it'll slide right down there, just the right size. Slides down and meets that bottom. So you're just going to put your adhesive on the bottom of these. And again, I use quite a bit. I'd rather have too much, it's not enough. So then I just slide it down in there. Again, I flip it over and use my Teflon bone folder to press it down really, really well, just like that. Then I'm going to flip it over to the other side. Then I'm going to slide this one in there. And if you're unsure about your chipboard, go ahead and dry fit it first, just before you put your glue on there, just in case you need to trim it a little bit. You can always trim it after you put your paper on, because these ends I usually do have to trim just a little. So let's see. Yeah, I'm going to need to trim them just a tiny bit. So I'm just going to go to the end and take just a tiny little sliver off of that. Okay, then I tried, and that's going to fit in there just right. So I'll go ahead and put my glue on the back. Slide it down in there. And then again, take my bone folder and press it down. And then this end, I'm going to check it. And yes, I do need to cut some off. And it looks like I'm cutting probably about a 1/16 of an inch off. So if you want to cut it to begin with, a little bit shorter, you can, but I always like to just leave it. Then if I need to cut it, I can. Sometimes, depending on how you put it together, you don't need to trim it. So it's easier for me just to trim it in the end as to trim it up front and then get it too short. All right, let's see. There we go. That slides it in there nicely. Okay, so you can see the inside of our box is all covered. Now what we want to do is, I want to dry fit these, and what I do is I try to fold them over, and if they need a little bit more trimming, I go ahead and do my extra trimming now. So this one needs just a little bit more cut off. Right there. So that will work. Okay, looks like this one needs a little bit more trimmed off. Don't trim too much because you don't want your chipboard to show on the outside. I know that one's going to need a little bit. So let's press that one down in there. Go ahead and try this one, and I'm going to cut this one just a tiny bit. So see, it's better to trim just a little at the time than it is to try to trim it off in the beginning and then get it too short, because you don't want any of your chipboard to show on the top side. And then put that one down in there. There we go. Alright, now what I do is after I put it down in there, I take my bone folder and I just go across that top like that, and that makes that nice even top up there for your chipboard. Makes it nice and flat. Okay, then I just pull it back up, put my glue on there. Here you could use double-sided adhesive if you don't want to wait for it to dry, but this art glitter glue dries really fast, so I don't worry about that. And I run my bone folder back and forth, pressing it down, and there you go, it's stuck. Then we're going to do this one. Go back over that top one more time, and there you go. There is your nice, crisp, folded little box, and it's nice and sturdy. So I have cut out, where did I put it? Right here. I have cut a little circle and just had my Cricut to write on it, metal travel charms, because I have some of these and I needed a place to store them. Alright, and let's get our travel charms out of here. Out of this dusty bag. The way these come, they're so dusty. There's a little cleaner that they sent with them. That shows you how dusty they are in there. But I get two little cleaners with them, so that's good. Let's put this other bag in there. And these may or may not be in your next kits, so keep your eyes open for them. Alright, I'm just going to take a couple of little charms, and I'm going to take figure out which side is the right side. School bus, that's the right side right there. I'm going to take one of these little glue dots. Can you tell sometimes I'm thinking? Can't even talk. And then what will I take? Let's see. Oh, let's do this little buggy. That's cute. Let's see, what did I do my glue dot? It disappeared. Okay, let's put that right there. And we'll put that down there. Let me see if I can hold my hand over these and show that to you. There we go. Got my little glue dots on there and my little metal charm stuck to it. I can still pull those off if I need to use it because they're just on there with a glue dot. So that is my second little pack, and that is ready to put in our storage. Isn't that nice? All right, so that's 2 of our boxes. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this upcycle tutorial. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to click that little bell so that you'll be notified when we put up a new video. Also, don't forget that tomorrow we will be having our Black Friday in July mystery box sale. So come on over for that. We have a limited supply of mystery boxes, but each one of them will be packed with crafty goodness, anything from $50 to $55 worth of product for $22.50. So make sure that you're here early for that. It'll be at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, and that is my time. That's Alabama time. So you'll have to look up and see what time that will be for you. All right, we will talk to you guys later. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.